Can I ask one more question?
Endlessly.
And it sort of ties in. Other than example, how do we help other people to get into their vortex? And I know that's not our work and not our job, but and you said earlier, if there's negative conversation, you try to change the conversation, and I understand that, and I try to do that, but is there...
Well, we're going to give you the most powerful piece of business that is available in specific answer to this question.
Terrific.
So, of course you've heard us say endlessly that unless you're in the vortex, you can't help someone else. But really, when you're really in the vortex and they're not, you can't really help them either, because in the sense that they can't relate to you.
Right.
In other words, when you're really feeling good,
it almost makes it worse sometimes, because that then maybe highlights to them how they're not doing so well.
Because comparison.
Right.
That's brilliantly accurate. It is exactly that comparison. But consider this. Consider what we just encouraged you to do about making peace with what is, by making where you stand not a terrible place, but just the beginning of a journey. So let's say you're witnessing someone who is clearly not in the vortex, who is maybe powerfully living something that they don't want to live, and you're hurting for them. You're seeing what they're living is causing you to feel pain too. Well, you have no value to them.
No, it's worse, I think.
And then you say, it is, because it adds to it. And then you say, but how can I not feel bad when I look at something that I don't want to see? And we say, we believe that what we're about to tell you here is what the essence of true compassion really is. Beholding something unwanted by them or by you, but having the knowledge to know it's just the beginning place of their journey, with the emphasis, as far as you're concerned, completely upon where they're going and not upon where they are, but not denying where they are either. Because when you try to get someone to deny where they are, they want to defend where they are. They want to explain to you that you're just wrong, because here's where I am and here's all this evidence
and
of
justify it.
Where if you accept completely where they are, without judgment, without sadness, without worry, without fear, it's just it's the story we've been telling about Phoenix Yuma. In other words, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not having an emotional breakdown because I'm not where I want to be, because I'm on a journey to where I want to be, and where I am is irrelevant because the journey is what's calling me. And that's what we want all of you to feel, whether it's a bodily condition or a financial condition or a relationship condition, or finding your what you feel is your life's work or your life purpose. It just does not matter where you are. It only matters what's calling you. But you got to get your eye off where you are so that what's calling you can call you. And that's the missing piece for most in this business of healing, or in this business of improving, or in this business of life getting better effortlessly. This is the missing piece in the effortlessness of it, in the ease of it, in the ease and flow of it. It's the complete acceptance of where I am, without recrimination, without blame, without regret, without judgment, without comparison. This is where I am. And then the richness of improvements can begin to show themselves to you. You get yourself in a jam where lots of little improvements make a big difference, and life can get really sweet really fast, you see. And if you stand any place that you are and are accepting the evolution of where you are rather than the stuckness of where you are, because you're never stuck, it is always evolving, then the journey is always joyful from wherever you are to wherever you're going, always, 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 always. And then you can look out into the world with this true compassion, which means an understanding of where anyone is without that judgment that takes you to your knees and rips you away from your inner being, because your inner being stands in that knowledge of well-being always, you see. So good. Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you so much.
My last question is about, we've touched on it today already, about the notion of freedom. And as I've been sort of reflecting on that for myself, and also when I hear other people talk about freedom, oftentimes they're talking about freedom from resistance, freedom from negative relationships, freedom from debt, freedom from bad government, freedom from hot weather. But really, it strikes me that if we're going to use that to its fullest advantage, we really want to focus on the freedom to. And I'm wondering if we're ready for a rampage of freedom to from Abraham.
Freedom, really good conversation again. And most people, but there's another word again, using freedom out of the vortex or in the vortex, isn't it? Freedom from always sort of knots you up, and the more specific you get in wanting to talk about what you're getting freedom from, the more bound you are. Isn't that interesting? Let's take it just for fun. Let's take it to freedom from an oppressive employer who yells at everybody in order to try to get what's wanted. And doesn't that sort of paint an image? Can you imagine somebody yelling at you, screaming at you to try to motivate you to do something differently? So a really specific thought that feels really awful while you're using the word freedom. So then let's get more general about it. Freedom in a general sense is, in a general negative sense, is freedom from things I don't want, freedom from things that bother me, freedom from negative thoughts. It's more general and not as binding. Now let's use freedom in a generally positive. Freedom to feel good, freedom to wake up feeling good, freedom to breathe deeply, freedom to feel good, freedom to have clear thoughts, freedom to sort of float free, freedom to think what I want to think, freedom in my own mind, freedom to be as I want, freedom to feel good, freedom to align with the energies that create world, freedom to know my real power, freedom to align with the fullness of who I am, freedom to witness and experience in great depths all of the things that I've incrementally put into the vortex, freedom to feel my way there, freedom to interpret what's there, freedom to begin to discover the fullness of what's in the vortex, freedom to align with the fullness of who I am, freedom to allow everyone to be as they choose to be, freedom to feel the rightness with whatever they are choosing, with no contradiction to my own alignment, freedom to unequivocally feel good, the freedom to choose the thought by thought that aligns me with the way Source feels about the subject, the freedom to find out what Source feels by feeling for it, knowing that Source will hold it until I find it. The freedom, knowing that there's no rush to get there because Source will never deviate. There's no chance that I won't get there. So I am free to take my time to go as slow or as fast as I want, to explore as broadly or as narrowly as I want, to be all that I choose to be in any moment or not, to nap or to sleep, to cover up if I'm cold and to uncover if I'm too warm, to migrate, to choose, to keep myself happy, the freedom to utilize the energy that creates worlds for the purpose of my own pleasure and satisfaction, understanding that I can offer no harm or deprive no one of freedom in my quest for it. That in freedom which is wholly offered to everyone, which is a vibrational state of being, that there is no possible way that in exercising my freedom I could deprive anyone else of theirs. It is the ultimate allowing of well-being and alignment with Source and fulfilling of my reason for being.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
For us as well.
I have one more. Can I ask you one more quick question? I really don't watch news, and I don't listen to the TV, or read the paper, or do any of that stuff because I totally understand the feeling of not getting involved.
But now wait, we want to talk about this because this is really a good thing that you're bringing up, and we'll let you continue, but we really want to put this into perspective. we don't encourage you to watch the news because we don't think that it is necessary to practice thoughts about unwanted things. But let's talk about healing in the way that we've been talking about it here. And let's not condemn or push against it either. Oh. Let's not ask it to go away or need it to be something different. Let's let it be what it is in the beginning of our journey as we're moving on to what we really want. Can you feel the difference? In other words, there's a big difference between saying, I want not that, therefore I will never think about it again, and saying, that exists and it doesn't bother me because it has no attachment to me and I have no attachment to it.
Well, if
there's a big difference. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the difference? Because there are so many things that people don't want, and they think that they're preventing themselves from having them by denying their existence or by refusing to think about them. And there's something entirely different and wonderful about accepting what is as the non-threat that it really is, while you simply move on to where it would be like coming to a junction in a road and having a sign that says miserable and hell-like this way and pleasant and heaven-like this way. And a lot of you would think, which way should I go? Well, if you really believed the sign, you would all go to the pleasant heaven-like way. But there's a certain amount of standing there and condemning the other way that prevents you from really being able to go this way. And you think you've chosen this way. You think you chose that way because you chose not that way. But your attention to choosing not that way kept you from going that way.
That's true. Well, but if it's anything really important, my husband tells me. You know, if there's any news he feels like I need to know. But what the whole point of this was, even though I really can ignore those fine, and I'm fine without them. I don't really stand up against them. I just
what was the point you were trying to make before we tried to derail you?
I'm trying to make is, what I do love is books on tape. And a lot of them are pretty gruesome murder mysteries that I listen to. Am I setting myself up, or can I just then say, okay, these are books. I'm through with that one, and it's move on to the next one and ignore it?
Well, there are two things we'd like to say about it. There is a very stark distinction between watching a news broadcast of something that you believe is real and reading a book that you know is fiction. Until you begin bridging it by acknowledging that a lot of the books that are written as fiction are based upon real life events. So then it gets a little blurred there. Okay. So it's like the actress who wanted to know, if I play a part of someone who's really living a terrible life, will I bring that terrible life to myself? And we said, well, it depends upon where you're standing as an actress. If you're standing as a confident and secure, award-winning, financially successful actress who is playing the part, then it's a different vibration than if you believe that they chose you from the role because you match it.
Okay, I see that.
So there are always these distinctions that you are making. And that's what using the power of your mind is. That's what bridging from specific to general is really about. It's making the distinction of what I really feel and what I really believe. But having said all of that, anytime you practice an emotion is a manifestation. So when Esther watches something at the theater or on television that unnerves her, and she pulls the blanket up over her head, she's having a manifestation which is a practiced vibration, which makes it easier to have the same practiced vibration later, and also causes her or you to rendezvous with things of that same frequency. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would care about how we feel enough to do what feels best. Now you could say, but these novels interest me, and interest is a positive emotion. And we say, well, then there's your answer. If you say these novels scare the fire out of me and I quiver in bed after I read them every night, we would say,
don't read
them. Don't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just watch for the emotional manifestation
and go with it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.